Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to order. Thank you. And I requested that we meet, and I appreciate the willingness. So I have been in communication with a couple of folks. Bruce Hudson and his wife is one of them, and Logan's dad was another one. And I talked to Logan's dad yesterday, and he's this conversation you and I had. So he's excited at the prospect of Bruce, and so he's willing to step aside if it works out. But at any rate, it in conversation with Logan and his dad, we were talking, and part of the reason we were talking was they were wanting to know the status of what he should or shouldn't be able to do. Logan lives at Jackson
I
Point.
thought our agenda was to reappoint people.
It is, but I wanted
Didn't
to
have
give you,
anything else on there.
I wanted to give you a heads up. All right, fine.
No, I just wondered.
So at this point in time, I then, because there was a not possible opportunity and because of the email communications from the attorney at IFA indicating that there were bylaws that required the Board of Supervisors to appoint, which concerned me, to be honest with you, because I wasn't sure how that would work out in terms of the corporation compelling a governmental entity to do something. So Johnson and I had conversations in that regard.
And without admitting that there would be an ability for a private corporation to compel a board to do anything, practically speaking, what it sounds like you're saying, Lee, is that after the resignation of the board members of the Jefferson County Progressive Housing Corporation, two individuals have come forward with interests in becoming a manager for the Jackson Point property. It is unfortunate that I think everybody's been screaming from the rafters for months, if not years, to try and get an interested individual or a group to come on board to manage this in Keyway Management stead. Keyway Management getting out and another management company or individual coming in. When the board resigned, literally, what is it, 2 days, 3 days later, Lee, there was contact from Mr. Conklin.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, Mr. Hudson. So that's excellent, but unfortunately, there's an incapacity to sign any management contracts with any future possible managing entities in the absence of a board. I think the agenda item is requesting that the supervisors discuss and consider appointing or reappointing members to the Jefferson County Progressive Housing Corporation Board so that they can facilitate further management contracts and negotiations for that purpose.
I did reach out to Sean and to Gina, and they both agreed to step back in, as myself included.
What about Leah?
I did not contact Leah. And
Lee, if I could say, I thought you were just a representative from the supervisors on the Jackson Point thing. But when you became supervisor, you took over from Darren Hamilton, and he was just the liaison or whatever it was to that committee.
that's not how it works, Susie.
How does it work, Lee?
It's the board is in and of itself. There's a president. I'm the signature. I'm the president, till I turned in my resignation.
You mean
And
before?
I'm not a board liaison, no.
So you're saying, okay, so we don't have a board liaison.
No, in fact, if in the bylaws, it states that only 1/3 of the board
Correct.
can be a member of the Board of Supervisors, but there's no requirement for a member of the Board of Supervisors to be
Yeah.
on the
I
board.
was just confused because you had Leah's name on here also on the agenda, not yours, so I was confused.
I didn't put anybody's name on the agenda.
Yeah. It says Sean Morrissey, Gina Edwards, and Leah Craft.
I didn't put anybody's name on the agenda.
Okay, it's on there.
Okay.
That's what I was asking.
Um, so, anyway, I lost my train of thought. Apologize. So as Chauncey indicated, nothing can be done at this particular juncture in time without a board in place. Plus, there's bills that have got to be paid to keep the lights on and so on and so forth. And I'm willing to go out. I've had a lot of conversation with Joe Vins. I also reviewed the insurance policies. There is an indemnification for the members of the Progressive Housing Corporation. So we're covered in that regard. Also, in the Articles of Incorporation, it clearly states that absent doing something illegal, we are not liable for anything. Any board member is not liable for anything. It states that in the Articles of Incorporation as well, which is fine. And I'm willing to go out, make the changes on the checking account that needs to be done. I got the letter from Keyway Management authorizing those changes so that the bills can get paid, so the lights can stay on, so that the insurance stays in place. I need to go talk to, somebody needs to go talk to the water company. I haven't seen a bill yet from there. And I don't know how long it would take to facilitate this change, if we can make this change. But I'm guessing 30 to 60 days anyway, as far as that part of it goes. And in as much as there was minutes of a meeting in September of 2003 prior to the incorporation, and the bylaws were approved by the Board of Supervisors. That's why, because I did talk to Chauncey and asked whether or not we could just rescind our resignation, and he felt that this was a better procedure. So,
The resignations have already been transmitted to
Sure,
IFA.
sure.
right, okay, I forgot you'd said that.
Just as a question, do we have any minutes since the 2003?
All I can tell you is that I reached out to the original president, and asked him if he had copies of the bylaws, and he said no. There is nothing here that I've been able to find.
As far as
I was
minutes?
given to understand that, I mean, yes, I have the minutes of that meeting, if that's, I gave them to you.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be minutes from every meeting they've had from the inception up to now?
Well,
I'm just
that
curious.
minutes of that meeting was a board of supervisor meeting, not a board of, because that board didn't exist at that moment. Until after it was
So after the
approved.
board became functional, we have no minutes. Is that right?
You know as much about that as I do.
So that means no, because I haven't seen
That
it.
I'm not saying there weren't minutes. I'm saying that there isn't anything here. They were asked to be
Yeah.
removed from here.
Yeah, but I guess I'm thinking it'd be nice to know the history since then.
Well, I just gave you the history. Former supervisors and a former auditor wanted those documents removed from here, and they were removed.
Where'd they go? Do you know?
Well, my understanding was they called Mr. Reed and he came and got them. I have been through all the file cabinets. I've been through, looking for those very documents. Look to see what I could find out when I was going through all this.
Hmm.
What I'm here today to do is to ask the Board of Supervisors if they are willing to reappoint board members to the Progressive Housing Corp. So that we can conduct business. At this point, nobody has any authority to go out and even change the checking account. And there's checks that need to be deposited and there's bills that need to be paid.
Mhm.
And I, for one, am not willing to not do everything that I can do, if you'll pardon the silliness of the statement, to keep the lights on.
Mhm.
I want to support the residents too. I don't want to see them booted out of there. So if we do this, how long before Mr. Hudson or whoever will take over managing this? Are you going to have to do it for a short period of time or what's?
No, we would have to. But yes, like I said, I don't know. I know that Bruce has talked to an attorney. I don't know whether the attorney was going to reach out to Mr. Thibodeau, who's the attorney for,
Okay.
I think, yeah, IFA. I don't know if that has taken place. I don't know what the conversations were. All I know is, as Chauncey indicated, nothing can happen without the corporation in place. And I'm just simply stating that I am willing, with the agreement of other board members, to step up and take care of that on a day-to-day basis, at least to try and keep the bills paid. It behooves us, correct me if I'm wrong, but it behooves us to keep the insurance paid. As far as that part of it goes, and the funds that are coming in are enough to do that. Bruce and I and Dave and another gentleman that Bruce had, we've toured the facility twice. We've looked at all the rooms that Keyway said were not rentable. And we've only found one that's going to require some elbow grease, if you will. The other 4 of the 5 were, I don't know, a few little like plates or whatever you call it for the stove, things of that nature.
Lee has the other interested party toured the facility as well.
Yes,
Good.
of course, it's Logan's dad, and
Okay.
so yeah. And
I'm worried about all the residents not getting all those checks.
well, that's, but I can't do anything.
I know you
Yeah.
can't do anything,
Yeah.
but Josh is calling my dad early all the time about everything,
Right,
and we just don't know what to say with Josh though.
right. And I talked to your dad yesterday, and let him know what was going on so that he could attend the meeting. And he said he was going to be out of town and
Right.
asked you to come, which I thought was awesome. So
That's why I came.
sure, absolutely. And so, but what I'm saying to the Board of Supervisors is that none of this can be accomplished. And literally, light bills due today. And so from here, if we were re-implemented, I would go from here out or over to, I guess, Midwest One Bank. I keep thinking it's
Out.
talk, and talk to Mary Alice and get that transition taking place. Um, and I don't know whether there's lots of things that need to be done. They need to go to the facility, pick up the checks that Logan was just talking about. I'm gonna have to write that all out so that we know who did what, not because there's nobody that didn't pay, I don't mean that. But I gotta start keeping a record. And then there's a stamp that's there in the office that says Board deposit only at Jackson Point Midwest One Bank, so would stamp those so that they would be placed in the account. That's what we're offering to do. I talked to both of them at length. I don't know, I can't tell the board that this is gonna be successful as far as being able to put it together. I did send an email to Mr. Thibodeau asking them to be a little bit patient in terms of any of the paperwork requirements and stuff until we get our feet on the ground here. But I expressed to him, and as I've expressed to you, I know nothing about any of this. I'm just trying, like I said, right now, my concern is keeping the lights on and the insurance in place. I don't know anything about paperwork that IFA requires. I don't know anything about paperwork that Area 15 requires. Bruce has rental property that's Area 15. He's familiar with that process. We also have 3 accounts. There's a reserve account, an operating account, and another account. We do the same thing, or I should say Russ does the same thing because they also work with the federal government and those requirements. We have a reserve account, an O&M account, an operating account, and because that's what we're required to have in place. They have a very similar operation here because HUD is involved. Bruce is familiar, and his wife is also in the mental health field. And she toured the facility last Friday,
They're all running together for me. I don't know.
but it was a Friday. And so we've got, I won't say we've got all the keys because there's a lot of keys there. There's keys but we've got all the keys to get where we need to get to the washer and dryers, because they're money operated.
Okay.
Okay, so all of that stuff is there. That'll have to be counted and deposited. But again, there's no authority to do anything at this point.
Okay. So I want to address Chauncey. Do you see any legal hiccups in any of this? Are you concerned with anything? Are we,
Well, yeah, but that's something I probably would want to talk with the board about in a closed session.
Okay. Okay,
There's always legal liabilities that come up with everything, but in this instance, and I'd be happy to talk in more detail in another setting.
all right.
There are kind of two urgencies here. There's the urgency to address the issue of the residents, and then there's the kind of longer term urgency, which is not as pressing because lives aren't impacted, but addressing the facility itself and
Okay.
the long term impacts of that on our community here. So all that being said, it's important to note that the corporation is a separate entity from the board, although the Board of Supervisors does appoint the members of the corporate board. So it is a separate entity. The board owns and operates the facility, but Jackson Point is not owned by Jefferson County. But in order to enter into a contract with a manager of that facility, the board would need to reappoint members to the corporation because they did resign. So 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
I'd have to look at the date.
Yeah.
It's too bad you had to do that to get action out of Iowa Finance Authority.
Well, I can't honestly say we've got much action out of Iowa Finance.
Well, they started responding.
Well,
So-
they kind of were before, but I think, I don't know. Anyway.
IFA has been working very well with us.
Are they okay?
Well, they've been doing what they can to try and grease this process.
Okay.
I would also let the board know that Joe Benz indicated that the board is scheduled on the Jefferson County policy to protect county representatives today, as mentioned before. So what they're saying is that it falls under the having reviewed the attachments, and this is from a Tim Butler, senior underwriter of ICAP. Having reviewed the attachments, it is my opinion the board is currently on our boards and commissions list as a rep board, not a member board. So the county's representatives on the board would be within the scope of coverage. But again, it has its own insurance and its own errors and omissions insurance, as long as the bills are paid, which is through Travelers, by the way.
And that is paid through November.
Yes, it's due December 1st. So we've got a little bit of time there. I'm just the utility bill, getting the water bill, and I don't know when it comes. I don't know. And then would need to also change over the address of where the bills come. But right now, just kidding, there is a crash bill, which is neither here nor there. That's the least of my concerns. I mean, not that I'm not wanting it paid, that's not high priority.
Well, hearing all of this, I think we need to move forward, and so I move we reappoint Lee Nemeth, Sean Morrissey, and Gina Edwards to is it the Progressive Housing Board?
Jefferson County Progressive Housing Corporation.
Corporation, okay. Get this right, yes.
Chauncey, could we do that based on the fact that The meeting notice didn't state that.
For today?
Yeah. I mean, we got to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Third at the bottom. Gina, Leah, and Sean doesn't say.
Discuss and consider reappointing Sean Morrissey, Gene Edwards, and Leah Kraft to Jefferson County Progressive Housing Board. Well, I don't know why it was that specific.
I don't know because I didn't say that.
Well, I know I just don't like, I just,
All I was told was to reappoint members, so I pulled the same names, so it's my fault.
Okay.
it's okay, Abby. It's okay.
And can't you just in your minutes at the beginning of this meeting, ask for additions or corrections to the agenda? And put his name in there?
Yeah. Is the intention to, Leah was on the board previously, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the intention was to and not, no? Well, it's
I,
up to
I've
you
always
guys.
thought, no, I've always, for clarification, I always thought Lee was the representative from the supervisors on that committee, just like he's on the Board of Health and I'm on Semco. So not saying we couldn't have him on board at all. He's a Board of Supervisor. We can appoint one of those.
Well, it's unclear to me,
I just want to be clear and get it done right.
were Mr. Morrissey, Ms. Edwards, and Ms. Kraft all board members as
Yes.
well as Mr. Demmett?
Yes.
Yes, that was 4 when you only have 3.
But
Okay.
the bylaws only say 3.
Right, and one of them is a supervisor.
Can be.
Which
Can
it
be,
can
right.
be.
Okay,
But I wouldn't ask the others to assume those responsibilities. It's much easier for me to do it as far as, that aspect of it goes. They all have full-time jobs, including Leah. And because it was 3.
so are the supervisors asking to amend the minutes and the agenda to substitute Ms. Kraft for Mr. Demmett?
I would
Yes.
say so, yes.
Okay, and is there any objection to that?
No.
Say that again.
Replace you with Leah.
Leah hasn't been talked to.
Replace Leah with you.
So Leah's on,
Okay.
Leah's on
We've got the
agenda.
short straw yet
I
again.
get you. All right,
So
so,
we're just talking about procedurally
Yeah,
right.
swapping her name out. for
Yeah.
yours.
okay.
Because you haven't even talked to her.
No, I have not. And when I did talk to her at one time about possibly running the facility, she wasn't willing, and I understand, she wasn't willing to walk away from the hospital. Which is fine, I get that, I'm just, all right. So
Can I have my phone back?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I don't know what we do with it.
Okay, so now I'm lost. Where?
You do your motion.
You have a motion out there.
I move that we appoint or reappoint. Or deny your resignation. What's the best way?
To appoint, I would say reappoint.
Yeah.
Reappoint
Yeah,
Lee, Sean, and Gina.
To the Jefferson County Progressive Housing Board.
Yeah.
Or-
Progressive Housing Corporation Board of Directors.
Yeah, I second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Lee, at this point, should we designate you as the 1-year term, the 2-year term, the 3-year term?
We can do that, yeah.
You want it just to stay the same as it was before?
Yeah, but I don't think we knew the designation of, you were 1, so you had to be reappointed at this, or you were 2 and you were 3. So it shows you when they need to be reappointed.
We do have that in our office.
You do?
Mhm.
Okay, that's all.
It's, 1 second. It's on the website as well.
You've been chilly again tonight.
No idea.
Her chili was
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, she didn't put any spice in it because it's really talking back to me now.
Oh,
Oh, okay, let me go over here. Sean is up in September 26th. Gina is up in September of 28. And Leo was up in September of 27. So I probably should assume the September of 26, if that's all right with
okay.
everybody.
So who's 28?
28 is
Gina,
Gina,
Okay,
and then Sean would become the 27.
okay.
you two both comfortable with that?
Yes.
Good
Thank
enough.
you.
Good enough.
If there's nothing else to come before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, yeah. You forgot that part.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,